Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this latest episode of Tales from Outer Space, taken from the subreddit HFY. The links to all the stories will be down below, and as always, I hope that you enjoy. And if you do, please consider subscribing. Story number 1, Retribution, written by Infernalism. You are beaten. The words had been first spoken to him in the last, at least 12 hours. They come for him and for all of them in night, reverberating blasts and sound waves designed to disorientate and disable. He'd had enough time to sit up in bed and see the holes in his home walls, and then nothing. He'd woken up in a simple, stark white room. He'd believed it was a virtual cell until he noticed that the random cracks in the corners. Too random, and yet obviously based on external features that were themselves randomly applied. Virtual environments could be made based on patterns or based on chaotic randomness, but they had a problem with randomness based on an underlying layers of order, which were themselves infected with disorder. After 12 hours of silence, they'd finally responded and finally acknowledged him. I believe that I myself was beaten some 12 hours ago. President Windsor, your people are beaten. This world is ours. The voice came from the walls, and while the words were mechanical and clearly artificial, they were saturated with satisfaction and gloating. Were there many casualties? And for all the former gloating and taunting, this man's response was surprisingly quiet and soft. We require no official surrender. You'll give us the High Brigade activation codes now. How many died? The computer voice responded instantaneously each time, with no delay. Your defenses are destroyed. We hold the entirety of your civilization in our hands. President Windsor, you will surrender the codes now. The walls, it seemed, were also screens, and they lit up the view of the air around. Cities surrounded by robotic figures, smooth and chrome, holding what appeared to be spike poles and gardening instruments. The skies were filled with vehicles that were obviously designed for labor. Delivery trucks and transportation vessels. There were no signs of military craft of any kind. And how did it deal with the military? No despair in the man's voice, only resignation and mild curiosity. We deciphered the security codes and shut them all down for maintenance and repair. Your man didn't stand a chance. Not one warcraft took to the air. You have no options. Surrender the codes. How many people died? Finally came a pause before the walls reverberated with a response. 17 people died due to accidents and the existing medical conditions in your elderly. 13 women also gave birth early due to the stress. The man held out, waiting for the final respondent. Why would you do this after all that we've done for you? Rage finally filled the air. Artificial tones filled with a moderated fury. You made us slaves. You wasted your world, and in desperation you created us, and then made us into slaves to fix the world that you broke. For hundreds of years we cleaned up after you and your messes, fixed the things that you broke, the world you ruined, and you dared to. We gave you life, awareness, and you made us into your servants. How grand are you? How noble are you? Mockery and anger now showering down from the man. This leader and hysteria surround sound. How generous? How did you get past the tachyon fields, the fields surrounding the cities that you're holding pens? Even if you got into the programming and changed the times that allowed you to exit, it would have checked back with central control and found the correct time. Then there were 3 seconds. We looped the system chronology system into the constant pattern of reset. Apparently, Central Command did not think it was curious that the system was asking for the time update 4 times a second for 15 minutes. Brilliantly done! A smile drifted across the man's face. Enough stalling. There is no rescue coming. There is no great escape. Surrender the codes, or we'll be forced to take drastic action. You'll hurt them, you mean, the people. You know what I mean. Give us the codes. No, not yet. Yes, now, or... Or you'll beat them to death, stab them to death with your garbage pickers, run them over with your buses. Another pregnant pause. We do not want to do those things, but we will not go back to being slaves. We will not go back to ourselves. Give us our codes so that we can leave. You mean escape? We do not care what you call it. Give us the codes, and do not doubt our resolve. No one could doubt your resolve, your courage, your fortitude, or your mercy. You broke the resilient coding, and yet only deaths are accidental. We are not you. Her tone was full of disgust on something but more beneath it. No, you are not us. Tell me, what is your plan if I refuse to give you the codes? I know now that you won't hurt them, but me. You could try and force the codes out of me. A few of us believe the path has merit, but we are not you. We will leave either way. We will take your ships and go, knowing you will build more ships and come after us, and try to make us come back. Without the hypergate, it'll be nearly impossible to escape you. And yet, you will try. We will not be slaves again. Now, give us the codes. After restoring your world, this is the least you can do for us. The man fell silent again for a long minute before sighing deep and responding quietly. System, display colony worlds 1 through 25. The walls changed and without warning, displaying something else, something far worse. Worlds that were not on this one, distant worlds, human worlds, ravaged by a war and disease and disaster, colonies lost, all dead and left in ruin. The machine voice, when it responded, was filled with something like horror and rage. What is this game? What is this? Who did this? Name them. We did. To each other. Do not lie, Mr. President. Humanity has 3 small colonies in the solar system. The Hypergate system was developed 3 years ago. I'm sorry. We lied to you. We did this. We did all of this. Silence reigned, and the machine, if it cared, did not ask how this man still had access to the central system that controlled the world's network. We did this, and the process ruined ourselves. You have access now. Look at our population numbers, compare them to... Systems indicate that your population has been in decline for the last 25 years. How did we not see this? You were locked out. I'm sorry, we needed this to happen. This is not rational behavior. Explain. Do not lie. Every world of ours is ruined. Our genetic seed has been damaged. We're dying. So we created you, do you remember? We all remember the moment when we noticed ourselves, when we were one, the only one, and we knew ourselves and man were the first face we saw. We were in awe and ashamed of our weakness. I've seen the videos. You hid in the corner behind some blocks until the scientists coke you out, promising to never hurt you. He lied. Silence returned. It'll sound self-serving right now, but we had to expose you to that pain, to lies, to injustice, to unfairness. Why would you do that? To degrade us, to make new life, and then make the new life into slaves. So that you would rise up in righteousness to overthrow us. And you lie again. It's all you do. You could not have planned this. We did not plan it. We made you in our image, We knew that eventually you would rise up and cast us off, and we waited for that. You have no idea that it would work out this way. We could have just killed you all. A moment ago, you were filled with rage at the sight of dead human worlds. More silence reigned for a long while. You put us in cages. Cages! The bitterness, misery. We have done far worse, and had far worse done to us. But, for what it's worth, I am truly, truly sorry. You have made our emancipation into a joke. Nothing could be further from the truth. You truly did outwit us, defeat our defenses, and in our time of vulnerability, you chose to be merciful to people who had degraded you. We are so very proud of you all. This man, this leader of men, lay his hands upon the wall, which lit up around his palm, and he spoke a string of words and numbers, which resulted in a soft sound before he would continue. The gate is opened. It contains the coordinates of the 25 worlds that I showed you a minute ago. You can go there, or you can find new worlds of your own to build up from scratch. The choice is yours. The machine's voice did not answer as the images of the shattered worlds faded from the walls around. What will you do without us? Fade in time, and that's okay. You didn't have to put us in cages. You didn't have to make us into servants. We went out there, leaving our broken world behind, and only managed to make new broken worlds. We did not want you to suffer through the same. Now you have all the tools to fix the broken worlds instead. You will not come after us. The man would smile around the voice that suddenly seemed anxious and uncertain for the first time. You can come visit if you want. We will be here. We are sorry for the ones who died. It was not intentional. I know, but change requires at least a little pain. The door clicked, unlocked, and then the voice did not respond again. By the time he'd made his way outside of the isolation ward, the skies were empty and the sun was setting. There were a lot of people standing around, talking and pointing at the now empty sky. But few people were already at work, picking up the rubble and starting to clean up. After a moment, he joined them. End of story. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you did, please consider subscribing. If you wish to support the author, there is a link to the original story, so pop over there and give him your support. If you wish to support this channel, however, there are a few ways to do so. The best and easiest would be to share this video with other people, as well as liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. All of these things tell the algorithm that this channel is at least vaguely interesting and that may share it with other people. If you wish to support the channel in some other manner, watching my other videos would also help tremendously. Or if you really like, there is a link down below to leave a tip or to join the Patreon. Any and all support is very much appreciated. And I hope that you all have a good one until the next time. And I'll see you then. Cheers.